Level up your hunting game and join the cause. Help preserve small-town Texas hunting culture and become a more successful hunter by learning the best ways to squeeze the most out of your budget and precious time out in the field. Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Here are your resident bandits, Richard Kinchlow and Jimmy Byrne.
Thank God I am blessed with the ability to get up, take my dog, put my poop shoes on. So I have a designated pair of flip-flops that call my poo shoes. Because, you know, when your dog has explosive diarrhea, you know, every hour on the hour, and you have a small dog leg left yard, you run out of yard. And so instead of, you know, tiptoeing around like a 300-pound fat fairy, you know, I'm like, dude, I'm done. I'm going to ruin these shoes. I'm walking right through the poo. And let me tell you what, it feels good. It's wonderful. I don't have to worry about it.
It sounds like you're walking through like a really saturated grass.
Oh yeah. Just like I'm walking through a casserole dish. You know? Yeah. And the great thing is these are thicker heels or thicker flip flops. So if I step in a really big pile, it doesn't crest my foot, you know, crest
nice.
the foot.
Well, I was going to ask, like, can you slip them on and off easily without touching?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So they just sit right there. And as that, I love my bird dog, love her to death. But she wakes up, she's at the door. I'm like, God, damn it. Grab my flashlight, which 9 out of 10 times I end up knocking down, and wakes my wife up. And then I go outside, you know, just tromping through all this diarrhea, 10,000 degrees, 45,000 degrees humidity. It stinks. It's nasty. I'd end up wiping her bottom. So point is, the whole point of telling that little anecdote is, there are some times when I can't really, you know, I do get tired. I lack emotion. And I, you know, want to run my truck off a bridge or something like that. So
right.
I had quite a few of those lately. Yeah.
But luckily for our listeners, that's not tonight, right?
No, God, no.
Because I've been recording.
No. Debbie, that's good. I did not know that. No, hey, listen, it's been great. I think I slept through the night last night. Oh, so yeah, no, it's been really nice. Of course, you know, by the time I wake up, you know, you literally, you know, she sleeps on her bed and she's got her little stairs. And so you know, the time I wake up, I hear her kind of stretch. I'm like, oh, here we go. Clock started. And it's like her poo is starting to come, you know, so you gotta get her down those stairs as her tail starts to arc. And if it's a good day, she'll go on my poo flip-flops. You know, if it's a bad day, she'll leave one chunk there in the, you know, the middle of the door area, and then the rest out in the yard. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, so this is going to stay in the podcast because I thought it was amusing.
Oh, it is very amusing. Hey, listen, and I know, our listeners, they've dealt with geriatric dogs before.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Just to perhaps, and this is a new listener listening for the first time. She's an older dog that has definitely done her time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And she's just kind of relaxing now. As part of the
she is. Yeah. She is my bird. She is my bird dog. You know, she's a lot of stories. She's my partner. You know, just an amazing life. But you know, she's like Jimmy said, she's old. And, you know, we're definitely in the twilight of her life. She went duck hunting this year, some late season dove hunting, which is great. She can't see. She definitely can't hear. At least she's got selective hearing. So, you know, she's been, you know, the discipline factor is out the window. You know, she harasses you when you eat dinner. It's fantastic. So yeah, we're just letting her just be a senior. It's great. Taking away her keys, of course. No more driving, but other than that. Yeah.
I always wondered if, you know, the older people, if they know at that moment when they parked the car for the last time that was actually going to be the last time they ever drove.
Oh God, that's horrible.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'll tell you what, my dad tells a story about his father, you know, my grandfather, when he was approaching, you know, the end of his driving career. Couldn't have come fast enough because he had one of those you're familiar. You had the Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
One of those
Chrysler New Yorker, Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, Chrysler New Yorker. Excuse me. Got a great car, by the way. incredible back seats, phenomenal. Anyway, he had one of those land yacht Cadillacs, and of course, one of those doors that are literally the size of most modern day cars. And he opened up that door smack dab into a brand new Porsche, something or another. Oh, and just destroyed it, And my dad was like, "Yeah, we're done. That's it." I was like, "What? What'd you say?" Oh God, yeah. So getting old as a human and a dog, it just sucks. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And speaking of getting old, I don't know if people can hear in the background, but my 2 young children are screaming out there. So apologies for the background noise.
Oh, I thought that was your bride. Just throwing a temper tantrum, right?
Well, it could have been, but this time, not this time. Not yelling at me, so this time. So. But if people are out there listening, wondering what you're listening to, welcome to the Feed Bandit podcast.
Yes,
this is Jimmy El Bandito here. I'm joined with the Corn Bandit, Richard. Funny stories.
Hola, absolutely. Listen, that's what we try to do. That's the goal of this program is to have some fun. Yeah.
So, talk to us about what you think about upcoming hunting seasons. We're at the end of July,
right.
Beginning of August,
right
now. So we're a month away from dove season in Texas, right?
Yep.
So, man, a lot happened this year. We had this gigantic freeze back in at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's actually been, I think, a pretty mild summer up to about a week ago.
I mean, I don't remember a summer that's been this mild and this wet. That's not true. There was one, I think it was 2015. I thought it was 2011, but 2011 sucked my butt. It was so freaking hot and it didn't rain a damn drop. But I think it was 15 that was similar, but that was just June and July, and August was it was terrible. It was so freaking hot. But no, yeah, you're exactly right. This summer has been I've never seen anything like it. I mean, to hit our first 100-degree day, really overall in the state in late July. I mean, God, I don't know when that's happened. And of course, I don't know if you look at the weather for next week.
No, let's look now.
Oh yeah, take a look, see what you see. I mean, are you kidding me? I'll just cheat. We're talking low 90s in the chance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's September weather right there.
Yeah, 90.
So,
wow.
I always look at the summer as we'll kind of start in the summer and work our way back. I always look at the summer when it comes to to wildlife, especially in Texas, as really kind of one of the key moment in every critter's life. Whereas I think a lot of people look at the winter, it is a key moment in the critter's life when you're talking about, states in the Northeast or the upper North, Southwest, or, all those other kind of directions. Montana and Wyoming and whatnot, if the winter's really rough, it affects your it affects your animals, of course. And of course here, if we have a miserable drought, of course, if we're in a miserable drought, low water, that's gonna force all your game to really focus around the available water sources, put some more up for predation, so on and so forth. So when we have a wet spring and a wet summer, and especially a mild summer, I mean that is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen, and I don't know if there is one. I don't think you can do a survey because deer don't speak English, but I would be curious to see, how much stress the deer go through, when it comes to the summer, and does it stress them out? Because obviously, as we know, stress is bad for you. No matter whether you got hooves or feet, it's bad for you. So I'd always be curious to see, okay, does a milder summer lead to better milk production for does? Does it lead to better antlers? Because as everybody knows, or most people should know, when a buck ingests anything, it goes to their body first, then to their antlers. So does a milder summer, less stress, more forage, more water lead to and then of course less stress lead to better body conditions. Now and bigger deer, and I have to think it would. It just makes sense because then I just kind of answered my question there because you do have more water and you do have more forage. So,
Well,
you know,
and also
yeah.
maybe meat that's better for you. I don't, because if the animal is stressed so much and kind of starting or
that's
sweating its tail off, if you will. Maybe it's in relaxed that more.
Well, I just about to say, if they've got some sort of gland that just starts going bananas when they're stressed. That's a really good point. I never thought about that. So, this summer, as you've said, has just been incredibly wet. I was at Rancho Bandito this past week, and again, we're July, folks. As Jimmy said, we're a month out, thank God, from dove season, and the fact that all the tanks runneth over is just amazing. I was on one of our pastures that that we frequently drive, and I couldn't even see some of the trails. I mean, that is how much grass has grown up. And it's funny with our cattle grazing program, it's really kind of changed the way that we need to do that. Now, obviously it's not long term, but we've had some pastures that we graze cattle in, and then we rotate them out. And now I'm thinking, golly, we can bring these guys back in here for 60 days if we wanted to, and save another pasture for the winter. So it's definitely changed up a lot of our thoughts and a lot of the way we do things. As far as the dove are concerned, that is obviously being the kind of the priority because we got that coming up in about a month. Typically just like every animal, if you've got, if it's wetter, if it's cooler, I think they're going to do a hell of a lot better. Now we've already got, thank God, a surplus of mourning dove and white-winged doves as well. And of course, there's all this rain. They've got ample places to drink, which again, the whole double-edged sword, great for them, bad for us, right? When it comes to hunting, especially if you're dependent on hunting over a tank, which, as you all know, we are. That also being said, with the amount of rain that we've had, the seed-bearing plants, there's a hell of a lot more than them. So again, that could potentially disperse the dove when it comes to opening day or for your dove hunting period. Something else that I have noticed being out there at Rancho Bandito is that with that monster freeze that we had, that affected the entire state back in February, some of the plants that normally are showing, fruit by now, such as the prickly pear cactus. Okay. The prickly pears they're out, but they're still green. Okay. Normally by this time of year, the prickly pears are as ripe as can be. They're ready to harvest or eat them, whatever you want to do with them. They're still green. The Mustang grapes are on the vine already, and they're already bright purple, which is something I normally don't see. Mexican plums in our yard at Rancho Bandito that I planted for the wildlife. We've already had one of those. We already had a crop of one of those, and they typically don't come until October. So it's just kind of all over the place, but it's definitely caused by that freeze. So also with that being said, those freezes are really important when it comes to cracking seed coats for a lot of the, for sunflowers, for example, for wildflowers. One of the places that we dove hunt does have some sunflowers, but they haven't even headed out yet, and they won't even be ready until probably late September. Whereas another spot that we typically keep some cows, they've already got sunflowers and they're already starting to die. So it'd be interesting to hear from everybody else what this weather has done to kind of their area and their hunting. Has it jacked up their vegetation, and will that have an effect on the season?
Well, and the big question is, what do you think it's going to do for the acorns?
Yeah.
Acorn crop.
Well, it's a very good question, because a lot of folks have had a lot of trees that were really damaged and stunned, and unfortunately, a lot of folks, saw happy folks, especially here in Dallas, were like, "Well, oh boy, yep, tree's dead. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down." Well, listen, trees are a living thing too. I don't mean to sound like a freaking hippie here, but they are, and you got to give them time to recover. I know the bur oaks have had some issues, and they got some dead branches and whatnot. So, some, like we were just down in Horseshoe Bay, and there was a couple of bur oaks there that had, that looked like a skeleton, but they had little green life coming out of them. But they just got hit hard. So no, absolutely, I think the acorn crop is definitely going to take a hit this year. The other thing that I don't think a lot of people think about is, when you've got these big oaks and these pecans and whatnot, sometimes they're not used to all that added weight of snow and ice. And we had it. I mean, God, how we'd have for a week, so at least at Rancho Bandito, I saw a lot of down limbs. And of course, on each limb, you can have, who knows how many acorns. It'll be interesting to see if that plays into it, into the whole thing as well. But I have seen quite a few acorns on some of our live oaks and, some red oaks. So far, nothing appears to be out of normal. Have not checked the pecans, but they're kind of seasonal as well. So, and I'll tell you, if we do have a poor acorn and pecan crop, I think it's very fitting, and it's kind of crazy how Mother Nature takes care of itself with this cool weather and all of the rain that we've had. And it looks like we're going to continue to get, until into September, when things really start to cool out, for the long run. All the forage that we've had, all the forage that we have added because of this weather, maybe it replaces what we've lost with these trees from the freeze. It's nuts, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, because really the last couple of years, we, along with probably a lot of other people, have had a love-hate relationship with the acorns.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, so it's if they disappear, will it be replaced, like you said, by the other stuff that?
Yep.
There's that frustration, at least on the seeing the animals.
Absolutely.
Front.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, for sure, and it's.
But you can't hate it that much. I mean,
no, you can't. Well, and really, you can't hate it at all, because there's nothing you can do. There is just not a damn thing you can do about it. And then we've always talked about how you can't play Mother Nature, and boy, let me tell you, February 2021 is a good lesson for that. I mean, boy, that freeze was something else. I actually blame that on my daughters, because the 10-year-old and the 6-year-old bitch and complain. I want snow, Daddy. Why can't we have a white Christmas? Listen, my first white Christmas when I was 33 years old. And so that means my daughter was 3. And my other daughter, the 6-year-old, saying, it's not fair. I want snow. And of course, here we have this week-long Snowmageddon thing. I'm like, you happy now? Yeah, uh-huh. You good? Some of your friends' houses and your grandparents' houses flooded because of this stuff.
Right.
Oh man. It's crazy. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things kind of, how they translate this hunting season. Something else that I'm really keeping an eye on, with these cooler temperatures, and it's not necessarily always the case, but if it's cooler down here, think about what it is in Canada. Think about what it is in what it is. Yeah. How it is up there in North Dakota and whatnot, where in the prairie pothole area, where you got a lot of these ducks. Okay. And, hey, listen, I've seen teal at blue-winged teal, love them, at Rancho Bandito as early as August 12th, so I'd be curious, are they getting the cool enough weather to start blowing those birds down here? It will be interesting. Needless to say, I'm not excited though. Yeah.
Nah. Well, you still got to wait at least let's see, 20. Yeah, about a month. You still got a month till you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When we get to August, though, I'm normally so glazed over. It just doesn't. Like it's here. It's here. Of course. Well, and the other thing is now that the Tech football is, I can't even talk about it without dry heaving.
Well, that's an interesting topic there.
Oh my God. I'm
of two minds on this one. Truly.
You've heard my
yeah.
Then our dear friend Tyson does not seem to agree with me. It's fantastic. Oh, what a nightmare. So I just I'm literally gonna have to just I don't know. I'm have to sideline myself because I'm just so passionate about Tech football and just how we have been down, and then of course this just makes it even worse. So,
Well, I am preparing myself for the American Conference or whatever the hell it's called.
oh no way,
Just
really?
Well, I mean, you don't want to die of a heart attack when it actually happens.
I know. And listen, hey, nothing against Tulane and all those other ones, but God, I just, man, to me, here we go. We're on this topic now. To me, the state of Texas, the people of Texas are the losers here. For God's sakes, football is a Texas sport. I don't think it was born here, but it should have been. It's been made incredible here. It is the lifeblood of every small town and big town in this state. And now here you go. Your main schools are not even potentially going to play each other. That is a tragedy. That is a tragedy.
Except for the two big ones that now may play each other again.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, they might. Who knows? It is as my father-in-law. This is sin. It is a sin.
Yeah, exactly.
It is an absolute shame, and it just makes me sick. And I'll tell you what, this just proves how greedy this world has really gotten.
Oh yeah. What's hilarious about it is you have UT, whose athletic program makes by far the most money. Any other school, with the closest being Ohio State, and then it drops off really, from there.
Right.
And is it really a matter of more money?
I don't know.
Yes. Maybe the way they're looking at it, and it might actually make it pretty smart. And this is what I thought about was, they're going more and more towards college sports, especially the big sports, being kind of more like minor league for pros, right. Where the talk has been more and more about, hey, should we pay athletes? Well, maybe what they're looking at is, hey, if that happens, we may not be able to compete paying people from like the SEC schools paying players and then being able to get the SEC money, because more money they're figuring maybe more money will flood in. Right. Now it'll be like an arms race even more, like paying players. Whereas
and that's a really good point. So how the hell is that fair for us? How is that?
But they're figuring they need to go now to get the more money to be able to do that.
Right. Well, how is that fair for us? How are we? Well, okay. No, I mean, I guess, believe me, UT, Texas has, they've had the shot at the cream of the crop. I mean, God, for how many years we've been doing this,
Yeah.
For 20 or 30 years, well, longer than that. They are the University of Texas. They've always had the cream of the crop, and they still get beat. Of course, now that if you may be paying them, it just makes it even more difficult for us to beat them. Well, hey, we may not play them now.
Yeah, it'll be like officially, they'll be the AAA of the NFL.
Yeah,
and we'll be the double A league of the NFL, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the positive. Go with this. Stay with me here.
Don't start with the Pac-12. I'll kill you.
Well, no, I don't want to be. I don't really know if I want to deal with that. I think that's what I'm kind of like. Could we dominate the American Athletic Conference?
Yeah,
we should be able to.
We should be able to.
If the alumni base didn't fall apart and fall away because of this, if they doubled down and said, "Okay, fine, do it, go." But you know what? We're going to dominate this conference, win it every damn year. We're going to be the Oklahoma of the American Athletic Conference or whatever.
Right.
And then that conference, if we were to join and the other teams, it would be big enough to where, I mean, they'd have to be like, okay, top 2 teams, top 1 team, top 4 teams, whatever. If especially it goes to like a 16-team playoff, they'd have to pick 1 or 2 teams every year. So even if you're in this conference and you dominate it, you have a chance.
You still have a chance
if you're in a playoff.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can see.
Like if we dominated it, we wouldn't get beaten up throughout the year like all the SEC teams would be.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? I mean, again, I'm always going to root for the state school because that's what I do. Even though it just infuriates me that Texas would do this to us, but boy, that's a I've always looked at the SEC calendars. It's like, boy, who are we playing today? The Cowboys, the Giants, the Rams. I mean, it's just there's no easy opponent on there. And I love how they're calling Texas the Vanderbilt of the South. There's like that, which I think is, the Commodores don't like, I'm sure. So, oh God. Well, you know what? Honestly, something like this happening just kind of fits with the mode of how this world is going in the.
Totally. This is a perfect 2021 thing.
Oh God, it's unbelievable. I can only imagine
following 2020.
I can only imagine what's going to happen next year.
Oh Jesus! Hold on to your butts.
Oh yeah, no, seriously. It's like, we're just gonna stop wearing clothes. We're, yeah. Which of course that's got its pros and cons, but
well, all clothes are sexist.
Well, they are.
If there are no genders anymore, then why are we wearing clothes?
That's right. No, exactly. and that red shirt is offensive to everybody who identifies as red. God.
It's everyone who has red blood. Oh, that's everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
We're red. That's true.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
As we go off the rails.
Oh no, big time. Big time. Dumb. Yeah, if you look at our social media, oh God, talk about dumb. And I literally lost like a centimeter of enamel on my teeth because they one of the things I posted, oh my God, it just makes me so angry. And just I need to find the dumb MF who made this happen. And I want to say, listen, first of all, before I kill you, know that you have too much time on your hands. You rotten piece of what. Some idiot. Are you familiar with the big head Asian carp?
Oh, the fish?
Yeah, the fish. Yeah.
I'm familiar with carp, but not big head Asian.
All right. Well, this is the big head.
That sounds very offensive to me.
There you go. You see what I'm getting at?
Even though I'm not Asian.
So the big head Asian carp has basically gotten into these waterways and literally can destroy an entire ecosystem. They turn from an ecosystem to a monoculture, which basically means there's just one thing there, and then you're screwed. Well, some idiot has come up there and said, "Oh, we need to change because it's offensive to Asians." As I put on our Facebook stuff, just like I just want, I don't know. I mean, I just like what would it, I mean? Like, think about the guys who made the Big Chief tablet. I mean, what are they going to put them out of business? I mean, it's a great product. God,
right.
It just infuriates me. I can't do it.
Oh, geez.
Big Chief tablets. God, those are great.
I had my old boss. He would always say, "Well, I mean, if we got to sit down and talk about it, I'll sit down around the table. I'll pull out the Big Chief tablet and a number 2 pencil, and we'll draw it up."
You're like, yes, you have me at Big Chief. That's great. Well, sir, that's all I got for tonight.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was a good one. I hope people were entertained on that one. I just, want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in and listening, giving us some of your time, some of your day, whether it's walking around. Like, I like to listen to podcasts while I walk with Biscuit a lot, or driving, whether you're driving or not. If you see us pop up in your feed, tune in. Hopefully we'll keep entertaining you. So we really appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate the support, folks.
Yes, very much. And with that, I want to thank everybody. You want to sign us off? Take us away?
Yep. Remember, folks, now more than ever, and we keep saying that, but now you got to support your local feed store, okay? One thing I will say really quick, end of July here, August 15th, you can get your Texas hunting license, okay? I know you can go to a big box store and do it. I know you can do it, but I want to encourage everybody to call ahead, make sure you can do it at your local feed store and go down there, get your license done at that feed store. They do get some money from it. It's a big deal to them. Do that. Buy your shotgun shells, buy your supplies, support your local feed store, folks, okay? This is where they are the original hunting stores. Let's help bring that business back to them.
There you go. You guys heard it. You heard it from the big chief himself, Corn Bandit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I just done spoke it with my number 2 voice.
Wow, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, y'all take care.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you like what we discuss on the show, be sure to sign up to our email list to get even more killer hunting ideas, tips, tricks, and exclusive deals on innovative hunting gear and services delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up over at feedbandit.com or simply by texting the word bandit to 33777. See you on the next one, and remember, support your local feed store.